Hey Stanners, today we're going to do the first ever public review of our readers' photos. Over at sdpcommunity.com, I created a special album for registered readers only to upload pictures that they'd like us to review on YouTube. So we have 30 or 40 pictures that we're going to go through, comment on the exposure and the composition, and do some quick edits in Lightroom.
This picture has a lot of good things going for it. I really like the composition. The crop is nice. The model is smiling in a nice way and making nice natural eye contact. The problems that I'm having with it is that the light is a little bit hard and there isn't a very bright catchlight in her eye. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I agree. The light on her hair is a little harsh. You know, having a diffuser between her and the sun would help. But the light on her face, I think, is really nice. She does have a catchlight in her eye there, but it's kind of at the lower end of her eye, which is a little unusual. It looks like maybe there's a reflector filling in the light, which is a really good idea. I wonder if we could pull the highlights down a little bit.
Yeah, I think that maybe the brightness in the hair is taking away from her face a little bit. Maybe try raising the shadows a bit, just to even out the highlights in the shadows. There we go.
What do you think? I wouldn't mind seeing a little more deliberate crop into her hairline. Because I like a crop into the hair, but you have to make it look deliberate, or else it just looks like you miscropped it. What do you think?
Yeah, I like
before, after.
Okay.
I can maybe go with a little more black in there. Before, after. Anyway, it's a great shot. Just made a couple of minor tweaks to it.
The first thing I notice is that there is not a catchlight in the animal's eye, which makes the eye just look like a black void. But I like the position of the animal. I like the crop of the picture. The highlights are a little bit blown out, but it's mostly the catchlight that bothers me.
Yeah, unfortunately, if we just caught his head turned a little bit this way, we'd be able to get a catchlight in this eye since the sun is coming from over here. You know, ideally for wildlife, you want to keep the sun to your back so that they have that nice hard front lighting. Now, that's not the case with portraiture where you don't want hard light on your subject, but with wildlife, it's good. And with light-colored subjects like this, just be sure to expose for the highlights and don't blow them out because you really want to keep that shadow, the feather detail in there. You might be able to improve this by pulling the shadows up a little bit.
And putting the highlights down might help too.
Yeah, perhaps.
Get that feather detail back.
You know, I bet if we had the raw file, we'd be able to recover some more detail on those blown out feathers, but we just have the JPEG to work with.
I like the movement in the shot.
Yeah, this is a really cool shot. You know, I think with the panning shot, where the trees are panned beautifully. You know, looking closely at this, I think it's not an error in the panning. I think the motorcycle she's on is just vibrating on the road, and that's what's causing it to be shaky. So, you know, normally I recommend taking a lot of pictures, and that might help. But in this case, I think the only way you're going to get the subject more frozen is to use a faster shutter speed, which of course also reduces this panning effect. But overall, I think the shot really works.
Yeah, I don't mind the bit of blurriness. I think it's like an impressionistic picture, you know. It's not perfectly sharp, but it adds to the mood that it isn't perfectly sharp. I think it works.
I also point out with regards to the vibrations, you can see that the front wheel here is much more shaky than even the back wheel, just because the back wheel has some more weight on it. This is a really cute shot. Though, you know, as I'm looking at it, my eye is kind of floating around the picture. I wish it had a more clear subject. Like, I love this car here because it's kind of old and antique-y, and that kind of fits in with the rest of the block. But then you have this car here, which is kind of throwing it off. And I understand you can't go moving cars around when you're taking pictures of a city.
But I'd say I want the focus to be the man.
I do too. I wish he were here. I think that would make all the difference. And, you know, I think this is a great spot. What you might do is when you find a spot like this, maybe compose it a little differently. So maybe this car is a little less prominent. You could crouch down a little bit so this Mini Cooper was blocking more of it, and then hang out and wait a little bit until that right person crosses your path. That's what I do with a lot of street photography, is find a great spot, compose it, and then wait for the person to appear.
Sometimes I also find that putting a picture in black and white can sometimes take some of the clutter out. So why don't you try putting it into monochrome and just see what it does? It might not work, but I've had cityscapes before, like city scenes like this, where it brings out all the right things to put it in black and white.
Yeah, that is pretty nice. I noticed looking at the histogram, it's a little underexposed. Maybe we'll brighten it up and get some more contrast in here. Might be a bit much. I'm dropping the black some too to make it a little more contrasty.
So for me, just putting it in black and white made the subject more the guy crossing the street, because I think the colors and the bakery sign were a bit distracting, and the colors of the cars were a bit distracting. And now it seems more like the crosswalk is the leading lines, and it's leading us to the guy. Works a little better for me. What do you think? Did you like it color or black and white?
Let's look at the before and after.
The colors are nice in that picture.
Yeah, they really are mostly nice. There are just a few really bright distractions, like maybe this red here is a little distracting in this, but I think I'd have to go for the black and white. Street photography is traditionally done in black and white, and there were a few good reasons for that, because it started when there was mostly only black and white film, but also because black and white helps to just eliminate the colorful distractions. And in street photography, you don't necessarily control your background. You kind of take what you can get. So those are good reasons to go black and white in street photography. Car picture. I love my car pictures, especially my BMWs. Right away, I'm a little distracted by all this negative space down here.
Oh, I thought that was the way the picture was cropped. That's a dark foreground?
Yeah, it is. Oh, you like that? I was just thinking...
Crop it. Let me see. What were you going to do?
I'm doing this wrong. I'm going to unlock it. I was just going to pull it into a panorama.
Yeah, I like this shot a lot, and I like now that you've taken the bottom off of it. It's a beautiful shot.
Yeah. With cars, often you can make them look a little more fierce, and I think this is what they're going for by just getting closer to the car. But I love that they got down low. I might have just moved a little bit closer. That kind of exaggerates the proportions a little more, and BMWs especially tend to have that long front end, and getting close and shooting wide angle will help accentuate that. I love the trees in the background, the light coming through, and I love the dappled light on the hood of the car. The car looks pristine, nice and shiny. Yeah, I think they did everything right. In fact, I love that the ground is wet with the leaves on it. That's just a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it's a great picture. Well, this is a stunning shot.
Yeah, this is from one of my favorite photographers in the group, Chris Greenwood. And yeah, it is a brilliant composition and just beautiful light that we have coming through here. I almost wonder, maybe the blues are a little hot.
I don't know. The whole picture is a bit larger than life, right? Like the colors are so rich and warm and...
Oh, I'm adjusting the hue.
Yeah, you're making it.
I thought I was adjusting the saturation. What do you think? Just softening up the blues and yellows a little bit?
I like the composition of the shot. I love how the line of the river is leading to the mountain in the background. And the sky is perfect. I love this shot. It's beautiful. Yeah,
you're right. The primary compositional element is this river leading your eye right to this mountain, which just happens to have the light illuminating it. And that's what really makes it work. And the fact that it's shot with a wide angle, I love the effect that wide angle lenses have on clouds. They just make them appear like this and just draw your lines to the focal point. Anyway, great shot, Chris. Okay, so here we have a marching tuba in a city bench. I recognize that trombone case there. That's a cute picture. It's kind of a combination of still life and street photography. The composition is nice. I can't see anything obviously wrong with it. I love the peeling paint here on the benches. Yeah, it looks like it's in HDR, so it brought out the grittiness in the picture, and it's got some interesting colors. I think it's an interesting shot. Yeah, I can't think of any edits. Mm-hmm. This is a really cute shot. He's got a really nice expression. I love the background blur here. The exposure is perfect. I love that. His skin is fairly high key. That's what I usually like to see in portraits. What do you think? Should we try black and white on this?
I don't know.
I think it works in black and white, and I think it works in color really well, too.
I think I prefer the color just because, I don't know.
You know what it is? The shirt felt a little distracting to me. Also, it looks like he's been playing and then got himself a little dirty. That's always the risk you have with kids.
That always happens with kids, right?
Yeah. I think black and white helps it downplay it. I might just pull this crop in just a tiny bit. Again, I like to see that more deliberate crop into the head and move the eyes a little closer to the top third.
Looks good. I like this picture.
Yeah, me too. It's a great shot. A fireworks shot. It looks like you got some lightning in there too.
Wow, they got it all going on.
Yeah, they got everything. I think I'd probably just crop it down so the subject is a little more prominent. To me, it looks like the exposure is perfect. I think that crop really drew your attention to this. In fact, I might even push it a little more off center so you notice the lightning a little more.
Yeah, I'm a little bit distracted by the things in the foreground.
Yeah.
But it's a nice shot. Fireworks shots are really difficult.
Yeah, and the fact that he got lightning in there is a huge bonus.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing.
This is a nice shot of a beach. Right away my eye can't stop looking at this person.
Yeah, me too.
And I wonder...
I feel like they're very prominent, but they're not they don't know it.
Yeah, my eye wants to say, what's this person doing? How are they relating to all the rest of this stuff? And actually they're looking over here, which makes me wonder what's over here exactly. I think it'd be a very different picture if either they weren't there or if they were facing the other direction, maybe walking into it. Let's see what a little healing can do here. Oh, I could have done that better.
I think it was more interesting with the person.
Yeah, I think it does need that something else. It needs a focal point. But that person and the fact that they were looking off frame and didn't seem engaged was a little distracting. But overall, it's a really nice scene.
Yeah, I like the colors.
This is a great shot. Yeah, I remember seeing this in the readers group originally, and my favorite thing about this is that she's got these fantastic boots on, and the photographer chose a really low perspective and shot with a wide angle lens, and that accentuates their size. It makes them seem bigger than they are.
Is she really there? Is this two pictures?
I think it's one picture with a rain effect over it. I think it might have been raining, but I think he added the rain in post. I'm not sure. I do remember discussing it, but I don't remember all the details of it.
Yeah, I like it. I love the colorful umbrella. It's a nice shot.
Yeah, it's really cute, and I love this kind of exaggerated, larger-than-life photo a lot. The colors in her outfit work really well, too. Usually we're telling you to put kids in muted colors, but for this particular shot, it works really well. And I even like the space above her head because it, engages you more with the rain that's coming down.
Yeah.
Where is this? What a beautiful shot.
Yeah, I want to go there.
Yeah, it's a really nice shot. The composition is good. It'd be nice. I know you don't always get to pick the time of day. It'd be nice if there was something interesting going on with the sky or the lighting, like if the sun were low to the sky or a setting over here or off to the side, or if we had some fantastic clouds or like a setting sun or something. But I know when you're traveling, you pass through a location once and you don't get to camp out there for a week waiting for the perfect skies.
I mean, that's part of the challenge.
It's getting the best picture you can.
Yeah, this is a great shot. They didn't do anything wrong.
No,
but when you're doing travel photography and we've been in this position, we've gone to whole countries and the weather has completely ruined it. And it's like, you don't get the shot. People remember the one shot of a location, and that's why it's really difficult. Like, we went to the Eiffel Tower, and someone else went there when there was fireworks, and it's just like, oh man, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's great. They couldn't have done anything else other than been there at a more spectacular moment, but we can't fault the photographer, right?
No.
I think they did a great job, though. I feel bad delivering some disappointing news. Like, you didn't do anything wrong, but Mother Nature wasn't on your side.
Yeah, you didn't have the luckiest day of all, is all. This is a nice silhouette. I'm a little distracted by the fact that it's not quite a perfect silhouette. Don't you wish the whites were a little bit whiter? What do you think? What if you drop the blacks too? Just making it more of what it is?
I liked it the way it was. I guess I like both. It's interesting. I like that about it.
Yeah, it focuses on the shape of the tree.
Abstract. It almost looks like someone splattered paint or something. Mm-hmm. But you're right. I think I'd like them to go with it being abstract a little bit more. Like, I could see a series of this.
Yeah, you're right. It would fit in well with a set.
Yeah, it'd do well with a set. So yeah, I like it. I wouldn't change anything.
You know, again, I might suggest being a little more deliberate with the crop. Here we've just barely cut this off. You might leave it open or cut more deliberately into it. Same over here.
I might cut it from the move up the crop a little bit on the bottom just to cut out the exposed part of the trunk. Maybe. I mean,
didn't mean to do that.
And see if it works out. And then
more like that.
Try it. Let's see. It's a little more abstract. I liked what they did.
Yeah.
It's good. No advice.
Ah, what a beautiful cheetah.
Cheetah.
And you got his or her eyes open, which is so rare with these cats.
A lot, right?
These cats are lazy.
Don't lions sleep like 20 hours a day or something like that?
Yeah, I think they basically sleep all they can.
Lazier than house cats. But yeah, it's nice.
You know, their eyes are a little in shadow. I think you got nice overcast light, and the light here is really beautiful. I might just brighten their eyes up just a little bit. You can kind of do this with the adjustment brush. I'll just... yeah, it always jacks the exposure way up, but you can just bring the shadows up a little bit. I just did one eye, which makes them look crazy, but I'll grab the other one real quick.
I haven't seen this before. You're a wizard. Does it end up looking natural? That looks a little bit strange.
I might have cranked up the shadows a little bit too much, but you get the idea.
It's hard to edit on the fly, but yeah, I get the idea. I could have used a little more couch light in the eye or something. I'd probably dodge it in Photoshop. Sometimes that ends up looking weird too.
Yeah, you can overdo it, and perhaps I did.
Come on, Tony.
Oh, this shot has some really beautiful light.
I want to see it in black and white. It might ruin the dress, because I didn't even notice a person was there until I just told you to put it... No, to the left. Isn't that a person?
I'm just looking at the picture. I just want to see what they're doing. To the left.
What is that?
It's just a mannequin holding up the outfit, I think.
That's scary. But in black and white, I want to see. Sometimes it's good.
Did I not? Okay.
I like it better in black and white. Look at the shadow on the wall.
Yeah, I do love that shadow on the wall.
Ooh, and it draws your attention to that hallway straight ahead in black and white. I like it in black and white. I like it in color too, but I prefer it in black and white. Great shot.
Yeah, what do you think with me dragging up these shadows? Is that better? Better here, better here.
I get it there. It looks good there.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that in black and white too. Though I like those colors an awful lot too.
I thought.
But you're right. I think the interesting part of this is the light pouring through and the shadow cast here. I almost wish I could see more what she was doing.
She's a mystery. I like it.
This is a really pretty shot. Nice straight horizon.
They need something in the foreground.
Yeah, it's a very flat picture. We have a little tiny bit of beach here, but yeah, it's a very two-dimensional picture. Maybe there would be some driftwood, or maybe there's some interesting rocks or sand over here. You can see a boat peeking in just over here. That might have made a really nice subject in the foreground. If not, you might want to completely crop it out of the frame. It's a little distracting that it's jutting in there.
I think one thing you want to remember with the landscape is that you want it to have depth. And you can do that by putting things in your foreground, middle ground, and background, where sometimes depth can be created by a haziness. Like you'll have mountains in the background that are kind of, they look blurry because of the haze, and that adds depth. So you always want to make sure that you have multiple layers in your picture. And this picture is nicely composed. The colors are nice. I like the mountains, but it's lacking depth. It's very one-dimensional.
That might be a little bit of sensor dust up here, too.
Landscapes are hard.
Subtle. Yeah, landscapes really are hard.
Cool.
Wow.
I want to go on this adventure.
I love this shot. This shot, again, this is a great example because they put something in the foreground here. And this is a terribly busy subject, but it's just a perfect contrast to the mountain range.
This tells us such a great story, right?
Yeah, there's a story here, especially with the nature of these bumper stickers. As you explore a little bit, you see the two hippies license plate here, and you know exactly who they are. Yeah, that's a great shot.
Do you mean literally exactly like you looked up their license plate?
Yeah, I have a friend at the DMV. Chelsea, I always forget this term, but what's it called when you put a deliberate tilt into a picture?
A Dutch angle?
A Dutch angle,
or
yeah.
A Dutch tilt.
A Dutch tilt. I like that they did this a lot because it adds a certain liveliness to it, and that fits perfectly with this theme of the traveler. So anyway, great shot.
That's fun.
Yeah, wouldn't change a thing about it. Star trails. Some of my favorite things to do. Right away, I can see that they had an interruption in their shooting. So with star trails, at least my recommended technique is you set your camera to 30 seconds exposure, and then you just lock it open with a remote shutter trigger. So that just takes a picture every 30 seconds, just shooting continuously for as long as you can until you stop it. But what happens is sometimes you'll run out of batteries, or you'll stop it for a second to refocus or something. And when it's not taking pictures, well, you end up with gaps in it when you later go to combine it. So we have a video in chapter 10 of Stunning Digital Photography that tells you exactly how to do this. And you know what I do? I just take the photos from the longest segment here and cut out everything else, so you don't get this kind of like Morse code looking set of dashes.
I like the colors though. There's like red and white and blue. Ooh, it's patriotic.
Yeah, it is really pretty, and the photographer did a great job of finding what looks to be the North Star over here and putting it nicely into the picture. It can be really hard to compose the North Star because it's really dark when you're looking through that viewfinder, but you aligned it with the rule of thirds perfectly. So good job with that. I would just go back and go out for longer. Plan to spend a couple of hours out there.
Food photography is so hard.
Yeah, this does look like a delicious meal.
I want to eat it. But I also see a lot of distractions in the background.
Yeah, that was the first thing my eye went to, is all these things in the background.
I'd say just get a clean background or get a higher angle so that your plate is the background. That's tricky, but otherwise it looks nice. The colors are nice and bright and warm, and
yeah, the exposure is perfect. This could have easily been underexposed with this bright white reflective plate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks perfect. So yeah, composition could have hidden this stuff, and that would have helped it.
I like night photography.
Yeah, me too.
Sign.
That was the first thing I saw too.
I know.
I'm loving it. I'm not.
I'm loving it.
It's gone. Get up there. Whew. Now I can actually look at the rest of the picture without seeing that McDonald's ad. This looks like
there's scaffolding.
Yeah, this is the worst, isn't it? You go find a beautiful spot, and it seems like it's always under construction.
Always doing construction on the prettiest places.
And the more planning we do, the more construction there is. Also say white balance is tough at night, and I usually like to see the colors a little more natural. Some people like all the warm colors, but for me, I'm just going to pull the white balance towards blue until I see a fairly natural balance. Let's see. Can we see
That
what
looks weird to me.
you liked it better with it warm?
I don't know. Somewhere in between, maybe. Because now the light looks green.
I had the metadata for some of the pictures, but I didn't get it for this one, unfortunately. It looks like might have been shot at a fairly high ISO. Maybe not. The reason I thought it was a shot at a high ISO is that the water here doesn't have a lot of movement into it. And, for a shot like this, usually you'd shoot at ISO 100 and do like a 30-second exposure, and that would blur the water really nicely, but you can actually see the waves and stuff. But it's not a bad effect.
No, I like their composition. In fact,
the reflections work better.
Yeah, I like the reflections. I like their composition, but I tend to prefer a longer exposure.
You like the warm colors better, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is fun.
This is a light painting picture, and I think they just kind of put themselves in front of a camera with some red, blue, green, orange, yellow lights, or maybe something that changed colors.
Yeah.
And freaked out. Maybe it's like one of those iPhone apps that just changes colors. It's a fun thing to do. I don't know what to say. It worked. We can see stuff.
I would have liked it if they drew a picture of you with the light.
Of me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like drawings of Tony.
I'm biased. Could have been nice. You know what? I thought about this one. I like this picture, but the subject of the photo is his cute little foot, or his cute big foot. Right? Because his eyes are closed and he's looking away.
Yeah, otherwise you got a good shot.
Yeah.
Like you overcame all the zoo challenges, like fencing and dirty glass and kids screaming and people asking about your lens. But you didn't overcome lazy cats. They're always sleeping.
Cats.
I know. What are you going to do?
I like the shapes. Like, look at his body.
Yeah, but the exposure is perfect. It's nice and sharp. The crop is real nice. This is is this a snowy egret? I always forget which ones have the black legs.
Oh, I think the snowy has the yellow feet.
Yeah, I always forget. Chris Rowe would know.
Chris Rowe knows.
I'm going to check the histogram on this. I think it's pretty bright. I almost want to make it a little bit brighter. What do you think, Chelsea? Better here, better here?
I like it a little brighter because his beak is getting lost in the background.
Yeah.
So
you just have to remember, always check your histogram. And the histogram looked okay here because we had this really bright sky in the background, but you want to make sure your subject is nicely exposed. And for a white subject, you want it to be really close to the right side of the histogram. You want it to be almost burnt out, but not so much that it would hide the shadow detail. But the crop is nice. There's plenty of detail in there.
Good.
Nikki Harrington, she's one of my favorites. This is a really cute shot.
I might crop it.
How would you? You want to draw the mouse?
I'm a little bit distracted by the mother's pants and the baby's feet. There's a lot going on down there. So maybe I love the tutu, so maybe just crop the bottom a little.
What do you think? Too much?
I like it cropped. Because when it's not cropped, for some reason I'm distracted by a lot of what's going on with the mom's pants and...
Yeah, and I think the crop here does help focus your attention on the eyes.
The faces.
Their expressions are just great.
Yeah,
they look just alike too.
That baby.
Maybe the
shutters?
The baby's eyes are a little bright. I wonder if you brought the eyes up maybe a little too much. It's kind of like I did for that cat.
Zoom in again on the faces. They're just a little bit... The focus is a bit soft, right?
I don't think the focus is soft. We get fairly low resolution images, so
we do. Okay.
This is zoomed 4:1.
Okay. Copy.
The sunset with palm trees picture. This is a classic photo. Yeah.
I feel like I'd go strolling down that path with a Mai Tai.
Yeah, it definitely makes me want to go on vacation. Hold on a second. Edit that out.
But I wish that there were, I don't know, I guess it has the sun and a palm tree.
You know what I would do is I'd find a slightly different viewpoint and use my telephoto lens and really zoom into that sun, because you can see just how tiny the sun is when you shoot a picture like this. And the sun is the subject of the picture, but it ends up being just a tiny dot. So yeah, you can't go too big. I will shoot the sun with a 500 millimeter lens and a teleconverter on it, and it's not too much.
Yeah, I love the colors. Pretty.
What do you think? Is that horizon level? All right, it's almost level. I have some amazing ability to detect a slightly off level horizon.
I'm crazy about that.
Just look at the horizon and line it up with the grid lines in there, and see, it's almost right. I don't think anybody but me would
see that
notice.
little lamppost all the way to the right?
You want that out of there?
You're crazy about horizons, and I just can't stand light posts.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
That might actually be an opportunity to put that horizon according to the rule of thirds.
Cool.
I think better here.
All right.
Well, this is really nice, dramatic light. I like the pose a lot.
Her eyes look so sweet and sincere.
Yeah, she's got a great expression. There's nothing distracting about her outfit. In fact, I like the red. The warm tones are really nice. The exposure is perfect. I love that the light is hitting her hair and accentuating, and I like that it all fades into the black hair. That totally works for the mood.
I like the composition as well. She's in the left third of the picture. This picture's got it going on.
Yeah, great shot. Stump me. That looks great. I wouldn't change anything.
I like this one. Look at that. Best hair award. No, it's perfectly exposed. The eye is sharp. Nicely blurred background. I like it.
Yeah, but for me with wildlife shots, I usually just kind of crop tight. And you don't necessarily do this with portraiture, but with wildlife, I think people are they want to see lots of detail. So I don't mind getting really tight in there.
A boat in the bushes.
This is really cute. This makes me think of Maine. It looks so much like Maine.
It's like a little postcard.
That picture's a little small, the version that we got of it, but it looks really nice. It's perfect. It's peaceful. It could go on your wall in a small frame and remind you of a place.
I know I want to put everything in black and white, and I don't know why. But will you just humor me?
I'm not done with the black and white on this one. Yeah.
I was wrong.
You blew it, Chels.
So if you want your picture reviewed by Tony and me, you can go to stpcommunity.com and you can upload your pictures to, which file was it?
Under the pictures menu, there's a folder specifically for public photos for review.
Put them in the public photos for review file, and we will critique them, edit them a little bit, and put all of it on YouTube. If you want access to stpcommunity.com, you can buy our book and email us, and we'll add you right to the group.
Yeah, the store is right there at stpcommunity.com. The ebook, only $9.99, and you can use the coupon code YouTube for an extra 10% off. Of course, we have a paperback book too if you prefer it there.
Thanks.
Thanks. See you later.